What is going on, kings and queens of this wonderful wonderland that we call YouTube? If you're seeing this, it means two things. First off, after 6,000 or 7,000 times, I have figured out my camera and my new setup, and this video has made it onto YouTube. So thumbs up for that. Number two, and most importantly though, it means it's time yet again for yet another review. This time we're taking on DC's newest animated adventure, Batman: The Killing Joke. Now you're probably asking yourself, why on earth would I take the time to do a review of a cartoon? Well, two reasons. Number one, I love the cast lineup of this movie. First off, we have Kevin Conroy, who is of course the voice of Batman in the animated series. The Arkham series, which is my favorite video game series of all time, or one of them, and he's done Batman in other spin-off movies and Batman related things. Beside him, we have the legendary voice of the Joker, Mark Hamill, who is the Joker in likewise things. The second reason, and the more intriguing one, is that The Killing Joke is actually DC's first rated R animated feature, which, as a 22-year-old Batman fan, I think is pretty awesome, considering it's nice to not watch a movie like this and feel like I'm 7 years old. You know, it's nice to watch it and see lots of violence and some dirty, dark humor and some cussing and other things that adults are accustomed to. That being said, though, this movie is rated R, so it's not one that I would let your kids or youngsters watch quite yet. Now, as much as I love this movie, as much as I love the cast lineup and the storyline and everything about The Killing Joke, there are some things that I have to point out. They're not really impactful on my overall opinion of the movie. They're just small things that as a fan I caught, and it forced me to pay attention to some things within the film. First off, and probably the hardest thing to talk about, is Mark Hamill. Specifically, Mark Hamill's aging, I guess you can call it. And what I mean by that is, when you look at another Batman movie, such as, well, let's say Batman Beyond: Return of the Joker, which is, you know, pretty old now. I think it was done in 1999 or 2000 or something like that. So when you compare The Killing Joke to that movie, if you look at Return of the Joker, you see a Mark Hamill who is youthful, who is full of spunk and life, and he has kind of this his dark yet whimsical side to him, this childlike whimsy to him that of course I love, and who can forget his iconic laugh. If you don't know what I'm talking about in regards to Mark Hamill here, go to YouTube, check him out, and you'll see what I mean. So, as I was saying, if you look at Return of the Joker and other movies like that, you have a Joker who is full of life and has behavioral characteristics of the Joker that we wanted him to be and what he has always been up to that point. Fast forward to 2016, Um, in The Killing Joke, and unfortunately, I'm not seeing that. Um, I'm choosing my words carefully here, but it's almost like he's tired, like he just doesn't have that gusto in his voice, and he just doesn't have it in him to really pull off um, that that iconic laugh that we all know and love so much, or much of any other true to form Joker characteristics, um, which for me is really suckish, because when I think of the Joker overall, Mark Hamill's Joker is the first one I think of. That is Joker to me. Anything that isn't that is considered subpar. So it's kind of bittersweet to really to watch him be the Joker, to know it's him in his beloved role, but to feel as though something is really missing, like something's not all there. Um, so that sucks. Um, and the lack of that behavior could be attributed to a couple things, not just his age. Also, it could be contributed to my second bullet point here, which would be the overall seriousness of the movie. Being a rated R film, it is a very, very dark movie. It is a very serious movie. One in which I think the Joker seems a little bit more focused and more sadistic. Not quite as whimsical and childlike. You take him very seriously. He's a clown on a mission. That being said, that also brings me to the second part of this, in saying that there is no Harley Quinn, which, if you know Mark Hamill's Joker, Harley Quinn is kind of a staple. Which again is a minor disappointment. When I think of um, when I think of this particular Joker, I automatically assume Harley is going to be by his side. But at the same time, I can understand why she wasn't. With the gravity of the situation in a rated R film, I can't really say that I could see her in it. But the fact that there really was no mention of her at all, like it was just Batman and Joker mano a mano. There was no mention of Harley in the dialogue. No really reference at all that she even existed, which was kind of off-putting. But as I just said, I can understand why, because in the story that this movie presents, I don't really see her fitting well into that. The third point, I'm sorry, it's hot in here. I'm sweating my balls off, so you bear with me. So the 2 points that I have made so far is that it's age, it's the uh, seriousness of the um, situation and the storyline of the movie, uh, and kind of the lack of typical behavioral things and the absence of Harley. The last point that I would make about the differences is the art style. Now I'm aware that there's a huge jump in the animation art style between the 90s and 2016. I'm aware of that. But when I think of Mark Hamill's Joker, there's automatically some things that I picture, like a very, very pointed nose and very, very pointed chin, and almost like a Cheshire Cat type smile, and things of that nature. But when I first see him in this movie, I knew it was him, but I almost had to do a double take, because in looking at him, I didn't picture Mark Hamill's Joker. I pictured kind of a Jack Nicholson-ish Joker. That's what he reminded me of. So it was kind of like you had the voice of Mark Hamill, the voice of Joker, mixed in with the looks of Jack Nicholson's Joker. So it's kind of like two different Jokers in one. I don't know if that's good or bad, really. But yeah, with all the things, with all the little things that I picked up on, as I said, it doesn't really affect my overall opinion of it. I do love it. I think it's a great movie. I just think that with little things, being as analytical as I am and whatnot, there was just some things that were missing that I think I expected, being that it was Kevin and Mark, that I didn't get. But it was weird, because it was like I didn't get these things, but I was given more, being that it was I was given other things, being that it was a rated R film, which kind of gave me another aspect on Batman, which I really, really liked. So I was able to overlook all the things that I just pointed out. Now, if you're watching this, ultimately it's up to you. You might not like the things that I pointed out. You might overlook them like I did, and really enjoy the movie, which I hope you do. I'm not going to give away any real spoilers as far as story, but I will say the ending is very abrupt. I don't think in watching it you're going to be ready for it. Like, it's just a scene and then the ending credits, and it left me wondering, where is the real ending to the movie? Is this it? Like, okay, I guess it's over. And I was watching it with my girlfriend, and we both kind of looked at each other like, well, alright then. So, there is minor elements that are different, that are not quite the way I would like them, but that's just me being over analytical of the movie. All in all, though, including the abrupt ending, including the differences in Mark Hamill's Joker, I do think that if you are a Batman fan who's old enough to watch this movie and enjoy it, definitely check it out. Sorry, I'm trying to find myself here. Where am I? There I am. Wait. I've got this camera on a really strange little tripod, and I keep losing myself. Here I am. Hi, guys. Anyways, with all that being said, before I lose myself again, too bad here, I can honestly say that I feel good about giving this movie an 8.5 out of 10. Uh, and I think that including taking into account everything that I've said, but it's stuff that I was able to overlook, and I think a true fan of Mark Hamill, a true fan of the animated Batman, and everything about this movie is going to be able to overlook. So, in closing, once again, I give Batman the Killing Joke an 8.5 out of 10, a strong 8.5 out of 10, and I would definitely recommend checking it out. So, until next time, Card Soldiers, as always, I salute you, and remember, we're all a little mad here.